told your friend you're not okay.
Hello everyone, welcome back to Top K-Pop, the place where every second of K-pop news turns into a heart-pounding experience. And today, you have to stick around until the end, because there's a big surprise that even the Hybe staff couldn't keep hidden. A mysterious gift, not only worth a fortune, but also full of meaning, was given directly to Jungkook after he officially won the title of Best K-Pop Dancer 2025. The question is, what kind of gift has brought Jungkook's name back into the world spotlight? It all started a few hours after the awards night. The stage lights had been dimmed, the red carpet had been rolled out, but Jungkook's name still echoed in every corner of the room, especially as journalists were busy discussing one thing: how Hybe would celebrate Jungkook's global win this time. It's no secret that every time Jungkook makes history, Hybe always prepares something much bigger than the usual celebration. But for the Best Dancer 2025 award, the atmosphere was different, muted, more formal, and it actually felt like something was being hidden. According to an internal Hybe source, as soon as Jungkook returned to their building that night, he was immediately directed to a rarely used executive suite, a room with dark glass walls, warm lights, and a distinct cedar scent, where Si-Hyuk usually held important meetings. Jungkook was still dressed in his award-winning attire, his hair a little messy from receiving so many congratulations, and his steps a little slow, as if he knew something big was about to happen. Si-Hyuk was already waiting inside. There was no cameraman, no extra staff, no team meeting, just the two of them. The moment was quiet, yet warm. Jungkook greeted him, the PD smiled, and without further ado, he took a medium-sized box from beside the table. The box was matte black, unlabeled, unlogoed, and looked like a personal gift he didn't want to show off. Jungkook, accustomed to receiving major awards, still looked a little confused. "You deserve it," Bang PD said before pushing the box toward him. When Jungkook opened the box, only the two of them knew what was inside. But seconds later, a staff member standing a short distance away noticed Jungkook's expression change from surprise to emotion, and then a chuckle, like someone receiving recognition far deeper than a mere trophy. No one knew what was inside, but Bang Si-Hyuk had said, "It's not about glamour. It's about your journey. About your hard work. About who you truly are." And as usual, the internet exploded. The keywords Hybe gift to Jungkook, Bang PD surprise, and Best Dancer 2025 bonus immediately filled global trending topics. ARMY members began speculating: was it a personal investment? Was it access to a new studio? Was it a special contract with premium facilities? Or perhaps something more sentimental, something only Bang PD and Jungkook would understand after years of working together from their debut to the top of the world? Some rumors suggested the gift was related to Jungkook's future as a global solo artist. Some said it was full access to Hybe's newly built, most expensive private studio. Others speculated it was production rights for a major, yet-to-be-announced project. Some even speculated that Bang PD had given something related to BTS's legacy, a symbolic object beyond monetary value. However, Hybe has so far remained silent, and their silence only heightens the impact of the surprise. What's certain is that the gift wasn't just a gift. It was a token of appreciation from someone who had watched Jungkook grow from a quiet, insecure teenager to a global icon with the most precise, powerful, and influential choreography of his generation. The title of Best Dancer 2025 was no longer just a formal award, it was a global recognition that Jungkook was at a level no other artist could match. After the meeting, Jungkook walked out of the room with a different stride. Calmer, more mature, like someone who had just been given something that would change the course of his career. Fans who witnessed it captured the moment. Jungkook smiled slightly as he touched the chest of his shirt, as if he were holding on to the meaning. The moment went viral within minutes. Hybe eventually issued a brief statement, not explaining the prize's contents, but saying, "Every win by Jungkook is a victory worthy of special celebration. What we're giving him is a token of appreciation for the dedication, discipline, and love he puts into his music and his fans." Meanwhile, it didn't end there. The narrative continued with something far more intriguing, as after that mysterious night, a new series of events led fans to believe that Bang Si-Hyuk's gift wasn't just a valuable item, but a major signal about Jungkook's future at Hybe. The next morning, the atmosphere at Hybe changed drastically. The staff, who usually worked in a fast-paced routine, now appeared more cautious, as if preparing for something important. For the first time in a long time, the production floor was off-limits to those with high access. Jungkook was one of the few names on that list. And that made fans wonder, was the mysterious gift related to a new project that only Jungkook had access to? A few hours later, Jungkook emerged from the studio wearing a black hoodie, a mask, and slightly damp hair, a sign that he had just been through intense practice or filming something serious. His eyes looked focused, not tired, and when the staff greeted him, he returned the gesture with a brief, uncharacteristic smile. There was a distinct "I'm starting something" aura radiating from him. An aura that only appears when he's working on major projects, like the release of 7, 3D, or when he's preparing for his global solo debut. One insider, who wished to remain anonymous, said that Bang PD's gift that night wasn't merely symbolic, but rather an access to premium projects not granted to any artist except those truly considered key pillars of Hybe. This access opened the door for Jungkook to create music with total freedom, lead the creative direction, and use facilities usually reserved for world-class projects. In other words, the gift might be Jungkook's ticket to begin a new era as a legendary global solo artist. Meanwhile, Bang Si-Hyuk himself was seen entering the Hybe building that afternoon with a serious yet satisfied expression. He didn't make any statements, but his body gestured that something was going according to plan. Fans who saw him immediately associated his arrival with a gift for Jungkook. Whatever they were discussing in that room clearly had a huge impact. On social media, the theories ran wild. Some believed the gift was an ultra-modern private studio with state-of-the-art equipment, which would serve as Jungkook's headquarters for working on his next album. Others speculated that Bang Si-Hyuk was granting Jungkook full creative rights to produce other artists' work, a major step that could transform him from a performer to a creative leader at Hybe. There were even rumors that Bang Si-Hyuk was granting Jungkook exclusive access to a major international collaboration project to be announced next year. However, the most persistent rumor was the most emotional, that the gift was a personal audio recording containing Bang Si-Hyuk's messages to Jungkook from his debut to the present day, a sort of documentation of his journey that had been compiled over the years. The rumor surfaced after some fans noticed that Jungkook's expression that night wasn't that of someone receiving a lavish gift, but rather that of someone deeply touched by it. Whatever the case, fans agreed, no gift would be more meaningful to Jungkook than something that reminded him of how far he had come. And what made things even more suspicious was the fact that starting that morning, Hybe had begun locking down several key rooms, including the mixing room, the dance lab, and the visual evaluation room. These rooms were usually open to certain trainee artists or staff, but this time they were all closed. This made fans even more convinced that Jungkook was being prepared for something big. Something that couldn't be announced so easily. Something that might be a follow-up to the mysterious gift. Then, there was one small but very significant moment. As he exited the building, Jungkook paused briefly in front of Hybe's glass doors. He stared at his reflection, exhaled, and then smiled slightly, as if certain that his next step would be the most defining chapter of his career. It was as if the gift from Bang PD wasn't just a symbol of appreciation, but also a sign of the greatest trust, that Jungkook was now not just an idol, not just a performer, but one of the most important assets in the global music industry. And that's where it all started to make sense. Hybe rarely acted without a plan. Bang Si-Hyuk rarely gave something without a purpose. And Jungkook rarely showed such a profound expression without a compelling reason. Something was being prepared. Something born from that gift.